Hello again, and welcome back to Right Man in the Wrong Place. My name is Luke Tatum. I react to music. Today, we're not going to do that. We're going to talk about Metroid Prime 4 Beyond because there is this sudden sentiment after the September 2025 Nintendo Direct that, oh my god, Metroid Prime is going open world, and it's the Breath of the Wildification of all games from Nintendo. Every game is an open world game, and they don't know how to make games that are cool. They only care about open worlds and packing with content. And I just did a video about open worlds, and I don't like that, right? It's very hard to do open worlds well. And so I don't desire that. But why are people saying this? Well, it's because of the bike, the Viola bike, or Viola. I don't know how they're going to pronounce it because it wasn't said in the direct. But we get this little snippet, of gameplay in the direct, and it shows this new motorcycle, Viola, and it's the Viola suit, that super sick suit that Samus has now, or I should say Samus. Samus has now. And, there are things that I could complain about, right? I wish that the bike was kicking up a little bit more sand. I wish it was leaving like a deeper groove in the sand. There's a little bit more like sand physics and stuff in there. I understand this is a Switch 1 game that is going to look a lot better in the Switch 2 version. And so I kind of get why it's not that way. It makes me hopeful for a Metroid Prime 5 that doesn't take 26,000 years to make, because I would love to see what a Switch 2 ground up game could be in the Metroid Prime franchise. If y'all don't know me, I love Metroid. Okay, I love it. But, this immediate gut negative reaction from a huge swath of people. Oh my gosh, it's going to be open world. They're killing Metroid. It's not going to be a Metroid game. Hold on, right? I think if you really scrutinize this, first of all, 99% of all the footage that we've seen is traditional first-person puzzle-solving Metroidvania style gameplay with the same sort of locking mechanisms on doors and figuring out what's going on, and the scan visor and regular combat. There's a playable demo of this game, which is the beginning of the game where you just do regular old Samus Aran stuff, right? I don't really think that the fact that there is one open world explorable zone with a vehicle is anything to worry about. Now, could they take Viola and make it a, thing that evolves with you throughout the game? Sure. Like, could it become an air combat vehicle later and you could fly open world style from zone to zone? Like, yeah, totally. Totally they could. It could get wings later. And I mean, honestly, that'd be pretty sick if they did that. But do we know that? No, we don't. We have seen so little of this game, right? From the trailer, looking in the background, you can see there's a snowy area. There's the Snow Wolf sequence. There's the, stuff with the platforms kind of coming away from the rocky surface, and Samus has a shield herself, and there's frost effects on the gun, and all those things are super cool, okay? There's a snowy area. There's this lightning tower spire kind of thing that's shown off in this brand new trailer. There's the forested part of Vuros that has, more, I would say, typical Metroid Prime style enemies and stuff in it. And, so there are different areas. And we have a desert. And yes, the desert, like, what game ever that's had an open desert area has not felt like a big expanse of sand? Okay, like, what is the argument here? Are you trying to say that Nier Automata is not a good game because there's a bunch of sand with nothing in it? Like, no, nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying that. But oh my god, it's Metroid. Oh my god, Okay, chill, right? Um, this is gonna be a great game. Now, if there's problems with it, I'll complain about them, right? If y'all wanna watch a video about it, I will sit here and I will complain about the things that I wanna complain about. I'd love to do a review of the game, okay? But the fact that it has an open world area and like I feel like people haven't learned anything, right? Nintendo has entered this era of 4 to 6 weeks before the game is released, they really ramp up the marketing and they really start to explain what's going on in that game. Like everybody wants there to be like layers and layers of unexpected twists and turns and new gameplay that isn't revealed until the very last second or until the game comes out. Like Tears of the Kingdom, you know, having the complete subterranean area and the sky world and the ground, like, was amazing. It was a completely amazing experience for them to not have revealed that prior to the game releasing. Every single Nintendo game isn't going to do that from now on. Okay, but they sort of pulled the same thing with Donkey Kong Bonanza, right? With Pauline being shown as a little rock. And then it's like, oh my God, it's Pauline. And this whole thing and this whole story, right? And it became this whole resonant emotional experience that people really got into. I'm not expecting that level of reveal to happen again with Metroid Prime 4. Right? We know we've got the psychic abilities. We know we've got Viola. But if that's all the game is, if it's like 4 or 5 regions and the desert is sort of a central hub that connects those, and you get to do some sick vehicle combat and boost around and stuff like that, and there's some stuff to find and maybe some other like emergent gameplay sorts of things that can happen in that desert space. I mean, okay, like what are you complaining about? Right? Let's think about Metroid Dread. Metroid Dread has the different areas, and what is the worst part of that game? I love Metroid Dread. I love it. Okay, but the worst part about that game is the long connecting sequences. You're standing on this tram system to get between the different regions. It completely breaks up the gameplay in the worst way. You're just standing there, standing there. It's long. The load times are long. And you don't get to do anything. And so if I get to do an Akira slide on my bike and shoot some rockets at some aerial enemies and stuff whenever I'm switching zones, okay, like I'll take it. I will seriously take it, even if that's all it is. And for the second thing, the desert doesn't even look like it's that big. You know, you do that zoom out and it's like, wow, look at this big, boring open world desert. Ah, this is going to be terrible. Andy Robinson is complaining about this on X, right? Like, okay. But that's not the thing that it's not now the only attraction of Metroid Prime 4. People are acting like the game is about the bike now. Nothing else we have seen involves the bike. We've only seen this teeny tiny little area. Ride from the desert across a bridge, do a cool jump, go through a door, hop off the bike, do regular Metroid Prime stuff. Like, if I get a cool place to goof off with a sick motorcycle, like, what is bad about that? What is bad about that? It's not an open world game where all you do is ride your bike around. Like, why would you think that? And so I'm just super excited to play the game. You know, like I don't have any negativity about this whatsoever. It could even look better by the time the game is released, right? They might enhance the visuals a little bit more, what have you. I don't know. I don't know. You don't know either. But when it comes to mobility, right, between the zones in the Metroid games, this has always been sort of an issue, right? The backtracking, the revisiting, the figuring out, like that's always been a key element. I don't want them to take that away. But also, like in Metroid Dread, I feel like was the worst of the games in this respect. You know, having to go all the way through this whole area and then oh crap, I hit my microphone. Going all the way through a long area, hitting the tram, doing the long loading screen, going through a whole other area, hitting the tram again to a different spot. Like, that was just not good. It was not good when you're trying to track down 100%, do that sort of stuff. It was not fun. There's nothing that was fun about that. If you've already gotten almost everything, and you're like, oh, well, I got the last power up. Let me go get the last few things. Like, it took forever. It took forever to do that. And that's not fun, right? Games are supposed to be fun. I'm very much in that camp. A game should be fun. So we have seen this rail system, and thanks to Andres Restart for pointing this out and spending a lot of time talking about this on his video about the latest trailer. But, could we do sort of a grapple beam, quick transport by going across the this sort of tram system? Yeah, totally. Or whatever it is. It's some kind of cabling that runs around. Could it also be power lines? Maybe it's not for transport at all. It could be power lines. You're like turning back on all the systems in Veros or something like that. Cool. If it's power lines and you don't interact with those things otherwise, great. I don't care. But like, there's lots of potential here with the more powerful hardware from the Switch 2 and all of that to potentially do some really, really cool stuff and make it feel less like 4, 5, 6, 7 locked, separated worlds that just happen to have, an elevator that connect them, and more like an interconnected larger world, like, a Xenoblade Chronicles X sort of a thing. Like, I don't think that Viola is going to turn into a flying thing. Okay, I really don't think that. But if it did, I wouldn't be happy. I wouldn't be mad about it, right? Because if you just could fly somewhere and then hop off of your cool air bike thing, and then you have to go through a door, right? Because there's only going to be a few ways to get into some of these cavernous systems, right? So you hop off your bike and it just gives you more access points. It gives you more options. It gives you speed running ability, that kind of stuff. Like, oh, cool. I'm going to hop over here and get this real fast. What is bad about that? Nothing is bad about that, okay? Will there be tons of cool stuff happening in the desert? I don't know. But if all we have seen if that is 100% of what's in the desert, some enemies to fight, some cool abilities on the bike, maybe a boss fight that occurs in the desert, like, if that's all that it is, I'm still 100% sold. Now, am I off track? Am I completely wrong about this? Y'all tell me. I would love to know what you think. But, like, defend your position if you're going to get into it, because, again, the argument seems to be that now it's an open world game and it's going to suck because it's just an open world game with nothing to do. Like, what about all of the other footage makes you think that? Psychic powers, all that stuff. They're going to really put in psychic powers into the game, puzzle solving with psychic powers, and then not use that? Like, we saw the whole thing already in the previous trailer. Is that what y'all think? I mean, it's just so weird to me that we're even having this conversation. But that's what I decided to make a video about this time, because it just boggles my mind. So I hope you enjoyed watching this. If you want to support the channel, hop on over to Buy Me a Coffee. You'll find that linked in the description box below. And I'd love to keep making these, game-related videos in the future if y'all want to watch them. All right, until then, right man in the wrong place can make all the difference in the world.